And I forgot to update the scoreboard, so give me just a sec.
Okay, we are going into the map 2 of the best of 5, Spring against Viper, and we got on both sides Franks, and we got a map with semi-gold, semi-stone, and a bit more relics. I'd say like 15 or something.
Yeah, it looks like actually a lot of stone on this map. Much more than you'd usually get, but I don't know, because you've got two big piles of stone outside of Spring's base. The Viper has got two big piles, but there's no extra, so it seems like you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of relics as well. But this is game 2 right now here of the Addison Cup semi-finals between the Viper and Spring. Up to the north we have Spring in the blue, and down to the south is the Viper in the red. And well, should be a good map. This is quicksand.
Yeah, and the Spring has the big dealers next to his berries, which should boost his eco so much.
Yeah, he's not going to have to lure them in. He's not going to have to build an extra mill, because they're right there. So that's actually in a really good location for him. And I wonder if that's actually going to really influence him to try something else here instead of just going for a massive feudal war.
And I feel like if the Viper scouts it, he should opt for a rush. Wow, Viper now going for offensive mill on his own.
Yeah, well, offensive mill. I've never heard it called like that before, but yeah, I see exactly what you mean. Obviously, right at the front.
Yeah, before the second bar even, so he's not getting the second bar.
So, oh yeah, the boar's back here.
Not sure. Did he scout his second bar? No, he didn't. Kind of. I'm not too sure. You can't see get it now for sure.
Well, yeah, you'd have to take it all the way over to his mill, which is not so good. But yeah, he's built 2 mills to start with, which is kind of a very unusual build order here. And I think the real reason is because of the sheep. There are no sheep around, really. There's a couple of turkeys, but just, yeah, very, very barren. And going to have to really rely on the deer and berries here, because obviously the lack of turkey and sheep going to make it very difficult to get that food in unless you take the deer and the berries as well. So
yeah. The Viper missing 2 sheep as well.
Yeah, I don't actually see where they are. I can't even see them myself.
On the left side of his deer.
Yeah, let's see. So this is quite nice for Spring, because he's not had to build the second mill here. He's got the 1 mill, and that's all good for him. So
wow, and 2 offensive villagers. That's interesting. We haven't seen a fall road ever, I feel like, in the feudal age.
Yeah, not really, no. The Viper now going up to feudal. Spring also up to feudal, 1 villager less.
Weird. And he didn't even scout the Viper.
No, he's just
now just adding the barracks. That's so bad.
Well, this is the thing, his scouts all the way on the right side.
Yeah, not using his feudal age to the potential.
But I think maybe he just has a feeling that the Viper is on the opposite side based on where he is on the map. I mean, the Viper has to be over sort of to the left here, or straight forwards. And I don't know, is Spring map
stable? What the fuck?
I think maybe Spring knows the map, and he's been able to realize that, okay, so my opponent's on the other side of this sort of center area. Interesting though that he sort of got the position just exactly right, and he's going to start pumping out some scouts now. Viper, though, going to have a lead in terms of military. He's already got his 2nd scout out, and, well, Spring's just getting his 1st. So, interesting that Spring came forwards like that.
Yeah, and especially with this forward stable, I don't feel like this is a good idea.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Frank's Castle Age, much more likely to see knights from them than anything else, really.
Yeah, that's true.
So for the stable here, it's quite risky, because if Spring loses this forwards, he will have to rebuild the stable back at home. And
we should add Archer. Yeah, nice. He's doing this.
So Spring, really high aggression. And I think the reason he's doing this is because he saw how well it paid for him last time. We saw just how well.
Weird tower as well.
Yeah, right there on that.
He's not scouting at all.
No, it's a little bit risky. I don't know why he's putting
house
it there.
Again. Wow, not the greatest game by Spring, I feel. But putting on a lot of pressure, and Viper can lose this game quite easily, I feel.
Well, Viper's sending out a counter now. Obviously, you know, I think when you're being forwarded, it's so easy just to concentrate on the forward and think, oh god, there's this army in my base, what am I going to do? But for the Viper, just going to send out that counter now, and, you know, he's got enough scouts there to deal with that Spearman, and Spring, real potential to lose quite a few villages here, which is going to be such a bad early game start for him. There's one down. Meanwhile,
and second
Spring's
pikeman
looking...
not doing too much either. Wow,
Yeah.
getting a lot of evil hits in his back.
Yeah,
Wow,
definitely.
not killing a single scout.
Spring will take quite a lot of losses there, but at the same time, Viper too, he has got units in his wood line here, and he's not only that, but he's walling up this stable with palisades. So, you know, Spring's looking to be a little bit lame here as well. I think maybe he feels that's the only way he's going to stand much of a chance in this matchup.
Wow, both players punching without any gloves on and just
It
taking
seems
the
like
hits
that.
everywhere.
It does certainly
Such a
seem
brutal
like that.
game and such low eco and yeah, confusing game.
Definitely, it's almost a bit like base racing, but in within 9 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
But that stable now walled up for the Viper, but he can delete his barracks to get units out. But I don't know. Do you think that's worthwhile? He'd have to like rebuild that later on.
I don't feel like it's worthwhile. There's an interesting bug. If you put your garrison point of your stable on a palisade, you hit the palisade like 1 hit point per second.
Oh, that's good. So
That's
do that.
a small bug of AOC.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Viper does that at all. It doesn't look like he's queuing that stable at all now. But, you know, this is risky for the Viper here. He's going to go for the Castle Age upgrade, it seems, which is, I think, extremely risky, considering he's lost his stable now. He's only got 1 archery range, and if he does click Castle here, you know, he's not going to be making any military. He's not going to be really... doing a whole lot until that Castle Age upgrade comes in, and risky click, I feel.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like if Spring would put on much more pressure now, he could win the game. And if he knew that the Viper was up, yeah, he would
Yeah. Well, I
block
think
the gold, block the wood, I feel.
definitely. I think the biggest issue at the moment is that obviously Viper has, you know, it seems like quite a menacing army. There's a lot of scouts there, but now surely Spring just needs to push. He must see right now that this is the time to push. The Viper,
He'll
2
need
knights
on
coming
gold
out.
now. Yeah, he should add the second barracks, I feel.
What the Viper should, or
No,
Spring? At the
Spring
front?
should.
Yeah. Obviously extra.
And now he has to attack.
spears.
He has to attack. He can't lose time now.
Well, no, because he's nowhere near the Castle Age. He has to do the
He's
damage
not even
now.
on gold.
No, he has to do it now before it's too late. And well, obviously Knights
Wow,
here is
not
going to
the
be
greatest
so
fight.
horrible
Yeah.
for these skirms. They're going to get taken down so quickly. The Viper with those Knights, and well, Spring may end up getting
Okay,
pushed back
fight
straight
for
away.
Spring now, but not nearly enough.
Well, that's the
pikemen
thing.
upfield.
Once the spears go down, the skirms are inevitably going to die as well. So, you know, that's the entirety of Spring's army now going to get cut down. Just to 3 or 4 knights though, and not good at all.
Now look at the points.
Well, they're saying that, you know, Viper's population just 27, Spring on 30, and, you know, continuing to send units in, but just sending units to their death at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Now the tower is helping a lot, but
You know, what do you
yeah, the
think
Viper just has to raid now. And
What
if he
do you
sends
actually
like
think?
1 knight,
I was going to say, what do you actually think to a tower rush in this map? Because, or not even on this map, in Turbo Arabia, or random even, Turbo Random, because I think towers are really quite ineffective, because you gather wood so quickly, you can just replace your lumber camp, not a problem.
but you're gathering stone quickly and
Yeah,
you build
true.
towers very quickly as well.
I
So if
suppose
you
it stays
block-
balanced.
Yeah, I feel so too. And you can get a lot of map control. I think like most maps with only like 1 or 2 bigger gold spots, Tower Rush could be quite effective.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, yeah. It does depend on the map, obviously, as well, but I just thought that perhaps, you know, because you're gathering wood so much quickly, you're probably going to be able to just replace your lumber camp very easily as well. But, wow, there's the GG from Spring, and I think, yeah, he just realised how slow he was to get to the Castle Age there.
Still
How-
not a gold.
Yeah, no gold
Within
still.
ages. Yeah.
But how long it took him to actually do damage and how little damage he managed to do once the Viper hit castle. I liked his idea though, you know, coming forwards really aggressive and putting
But
pressure
why
on.
was it stable? I feel
Yeah.
like that's not a great choice.
Yeah, obviously a little bit risky, but I don't know. I mean, he managed to wall the stable of the Viper, so I mean, arguably you could say, well, it did work, it did do its purpose, but he just didn't do enough eco damage to make it worthwhile. Really, I feel.
Yeah, if you wall the stable of your enemy and meanwhile he's going for Castle Age, you're not gaining too much.
No, true, and obviously the Viper just rebuilt them anyway, and that was it. Knights just ripped through everything, and I think that's one of the biggest things about Turbo Random. You've got the potential to do an incredibly fast castle time, but at the same time, it's very risky as well. I suppose almost the same as normal, but what I suppose I'm trying to say is that if you do go for a very fast castle, you can turn the game around in an instant because you're going to have such more powerful units coming from the castle age. But if your opponent does sort of rush you in the feudal age, you could still take a lot of damage and it might not be worthwhile at all.
Yeah, that's true. Could we come back, please?